Man, don't I have a story to tell you? Now, I tried telling this story. I typed it up in my Facebook, on my Facebook profile. And so, just want to let you know that this past Sunday, when I got in from church, man, I was so tired and I was drained. I was so drained to a point where when I tried to call people, sometimes I was liable to fall asleep while I was trying to dial their number. That's how sleepy I was and how drained that I was. And then once I finally got home, I tried to stay awake a little longer. I tried to eat my food, which I did eat some of it, but I was also so sleepy that I eventually fell into, like, I guess you call it a deep sleep. And as I fell asleep, a lot of times when I have dreams, sometimes I have dreams that I can understand, and then sometimes I have dreams that I don't understand. And then sometimes I try to figure out the dreams the best way that I know how. And so in this particular dream, I remember it was me, my brother, and my sister. We were at a place. I want to say it was a restaurant, but it was so weird. I don't know if I should call it a restaurant. The reason why is because there was things to eat, but the thing is, my sister wasn't eating anything. My brother was not eating anything. I was the only one eating. And so, but the thing is, not only was I the only one eating, there it seemed like it was a whole lot of ice. It seemed like it was in a cool place. And so, even as I was eating in the dream, I remember eating, but I don't remember saying to myself, man, this tastes good. This tastes like some good old fish or some good old chicken. It was nothing like that. It was like the taste was just there. I mean, nothing to brag on, so to speak. And so, like I say, that was kind of weird dream considering it felt like a restaurant. And so, but not only was okay, and to describe what I was eating, the best way that can describe what I was eating. Are you familiar with those dentine ice? Those dentine ice, they square size and they're white. It looked like I had like about five or more of those, but they were just there. And I was the only one that had them at my table or whatever I was sitting at. And like I said, I kept eating them. But the thing is, not only did I have one that looked like a dentine ice, the other one was like a white. I think it was trying to remember the way it looked. It had some type of orange in it, and I think some type of orange and white. That's the best way that I can describe the look of that one. But it wasn't the shape of a dentine ice. It was, then again, I can't really, it was, to me, it was like the shape of a shrimp in a way, a big jumbo size shrimp. But that's the best way that I can describe what that one appears to look like as far as the physical look of it. And so once I woke up from that dream, I said to myself, what in the world was that about? And so the dream was so strange and so realistic, and it felt like something was there, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. And so since it was like that, I went and told my mom. I told my mom the whole story. And she said, man, there's no telling what that dream was about. I said, I know. And so when something like that is on my mind like that, I want to get to the bottom of it. And so I kept thinking about it, but I tried not to dwell on it. But for some reason, periodically, it would pop up in my mind. And of course, I'm going to keep on thinking about it as long as it does that. And so, um, the next day or so, I think it was the next day, I ran across some information that caught my attention. Now, this information was very beneficial. And I said, man, that is very healthy, beneficial. I said, I would love to share it with people that don't know. And so, but not only was I want to share with people that don't know, what really caught my attention was the fact that in 2016, 17, 18, somewhere in that vicinity, there was a time where I was trying to get certain ingredients together and combine them all together so that it could help me in my diagnosis. And so, like I said, that was way back 2016, 17, 18. Like I said, I can't remember exactly what date, but like I say, somewhere in that vicinity. But that was way back then. Man, this way in 2025. And for me to run across a product that has all that together and is already in there. And so I said, man, I need to get a hold of this. So I got the name of that product. That product is called Japanese Natto. And that's what you're looking at right here. Japanese Natto. And so once I was looking at this I mean, but right now you're looking at the Japanese natto, okay? But see, I'm gonna jump back to where I was as far as telling my mom about it, and we didn't know what it was. Okay, since I wanted the Japanese natto so bad, I started to call around and find out who sold it, so I would know who to go. Okay, I called around at the Japanese places here in Athens. The first person I talked to was not the first person, the first restaurant I called. They told me that they had never heard of it. I said, "Are you serious?" She said, "We've never heard of that here." I said, "But you're Japanese. You never heard of Japanese natto?" And she said, "We've never heard and we don't carry that." I said, "Oh, okay, okay." And then I heard someone in the background say, "No, we don't have that." And so he wasn't clear on if they've never had it or if he didn't know what it was. So I wasn't sure. So I called another Japanese restaurant, and the next Japanese restaurant, they said, "Sir, this is a restaurant." And I said, "I know." I said, "But that's the reason I'm calling to see if y'all have this on your menu." And as I was talking to her, she just hung up. I said, "Wow." So since she hung up, I wasn't gonna call her back and try to explain anything to her. And so when I went to bed that night, I said, tomorrow I'm gonna call the Asian markets. I said, because if anything Japanese, Chinese, or anything Asian, they're gonna know what I'm talking about. So I called them the next day, and the lady told me that they carried the product. And I was so happy because I sure couldn't sleep the night before. I stayed up at night and I was smiling and happy because I knew that the Asian market was more than likely going to have what I was looking for. And once the ladies told me that they had it, I couldn't wait to get over there. And once I got over there, the lady at first sounded like she was confused. And I said, I knew it was her because her voice was exactly the same lady I had previously talked to. And when she said, hold on for a second, then she went through the store. She went down one aisle, another aisle, then the next aisle. I said, dang, do they even have it? And for a second, I was nervous because I thought she was going to say, I'm sorry, sir, we don't have that. But she kept going. But the last time she said, oh, there it is. There it is right there. And so when she showed me where they was at, I felt very happy then because I'm like, finally, I know for a fact that I'm not way over here for nothing. And so once I went, and it was the same price that she told me because she told me the price on the phone, how much it was. And so some people might be wondering why was I so wanting this Japanese natto so bad. But the thing is, let me jump back to this. I described to you what the dream looked like as far as um, the what the dentine ice looked like, and what the other thing looked like a shrimp that was orange and white or something like that, but it was wrapped, something like that. But in real life, once I finally got the product, this is what I'm looking at. Okay, and I thought it was neat how the products, once you open each product, you see the white one, you see the red one. Remember in the dream I told you that it looked like dentine ice. And once you open each product, you have three of those little styrofoam like containers. I have three laid out right there. You have three styrofoam like containers, and once you open those up, you have the Japanese natto in there. And so they said eat one a day, but if you have to eat two, make sure it's the next day. You can eat more. I mean, they suggest do not eat more than two of those a day. I mean, but I'm not gonna eat one every single day. But if you're gonna eat them like every day, that would be cool, but just not two times a day. They said two times would be overdoing it, so just stick to one a day. But as you can see in the dream, it looked like dentine ice. And in real life, once the dream came to fruition, you see and I knew they was bigger than dentine ice, and as you can see by these pictures, they're definitely bigger than dentine ice. And the part that I looked at as being orange and white, I guess that was to the far right. That's the only thing that I can think of that I ran across that makes sense. And so I decided I would keep that. And to learn more about this Japanese natto, it's a popular breakfast that's found in Japan. And some people might wonder what it tastes like. But the thing is about this Japanese natto, it does have a distinctive smell, taste, and texture. Now, the texture, some people might run from the texture because the texture is, they say, similar to okra. Now, see, okra doesn't bother me, the slimy texture, but some people can't stand that slimy texture. And it might not be as slimy as it seems to some folks. Some people, it may not bother them at all. But the taste, they say the taste is an acquired taste. And this is a superfood. And some people, to make their superfood taste better with this one anyway, they add avocado or rice. And some people just add plain rice to it. And so, but the things that caught my attention, um, I put this in my latest book, Sphingolipids. If you see the word sphingolipids, a lot of people cannot say that. But if I have to spell it, I can't spell it. But if I see it, I can say it. And it's called sphingolipids. And my goal was to get sphingolipids and vitamin K together because both of those combined together does some great health benefits. And also this natto, it has probiotics. And if you know anything about probiotics, you got to feed your probiotics with prebiotics. And like I said, it's a sticky substance. And not only that, it helps bone health, your gut health. A lot of people try to clean their intestines and stuff like that, but this helps clean your gut health, and it reduces the risk of certain diseases. So as you can see right there, it does a lot of help. And as you can see in the picture, that mustard looking packet, they say that mustard looking packet is kind of sweet and spicy. I've never tried it, but I'm going to be trying it soon. And that other packet, they said it's kind of like a soy sauce. And I like soy sauce, but I like putting soy sauce on my foods. So I imagine that the soy sauce will taste pretty good. Well, I hope so anyway, once I put it on there. But I did want to share this with you guys. So in case y'all ever come across Asian natto, it's spelled Natto. Almost like our defense system over here, United States, NATO, but it's NATO, Natto. And so I did think I want to share it with you. And one day, what I just discovered the other day, which I said I don't have any idea why come this hasn't been over here in the United States as far as it being talked about a lot. It's ironic that I've talked about it a long time ago, and I'm the one that typed about it, but just didn't know what I was typing about. And now I ran across this. I'm like, that's what I typed about in 2016, 17, 18, somewhere up in that vicinity. And that's what I was looking for. And now that I have it in my hand, I'm going to see what it's going to do. And I just thank God for his marvelous blessing because I don't believe that I ran across this by accident. I believe it's all in God's timing. And my pastor always says, I love God's setup. And so in due time, y'all gonna find out what this is all about. Like I said, I decided I would share because it's very healthy and it is a superfood. They say that's why so many Japanese Chinese live so long because of this particular food or foods like this. But like I said, I wanted to share it with the world. I'm gonna go more in detail at other times. And so, like I say, it's in one of my books. I think my latest book. But like I say, I don't point it out. You would have to see it. You would have to find out. Oh, this is where he was talking about it right here. But like I said, I didn't know about natto at all then. But you'll see where this stuff could go together. But like I said, I want to share it with the world, sharing with Facebook right now. But in due time, I will share it with the world. And I'm going to let other people know why this was so important and why I truly believe that God led me to this. So I just want to say, God bless. God bless everyone. Thanks for watching. And I hope to hear from you soon. God bless.